to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item we have is roll call.
Greenville. Here. Watts.
Here.
Waterstream. Here. Coolman.
Here.
And Clerk LaFontaine is an excused absence today. Do you want to make a motion?
I can make a motion to accept Clerk LaFontaine's excused absence.
And I support.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed, thank you. Next item we have tonight is the presentation of agenda. Is there anything anybody would like to add or remove from the agenda today? I'm not going to get a motion to accept the agenda as presented.
So moved. Support.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Next item we have is public comment on agenda items only. And first thing we have up is the Community Development Block Grant public hearing. Would like to call that meeting to order at 7:01. Motion to call meeting to order. Support?
Support.
You'll find the agenda in your packet for the CDBG public hearing. The agenda, if you want to add or remove from tonight. Okay. Next item, the block grant fund allotted for 2024 community development block grant funding. The township has $2,570 to spend for the program this year.
2,570 or 2,700? Which was it?
2,570. Any other questions with the allocation? All right, hearing none, the next item we have would be here for request for CDBG funds. Does anybody?
Can I introduce him second?
Sure.
Would you like them to?
Good evening. My name is Sherry Warnock, and I'm a volunteer coordinator for Interfaith Volunteer Caregivers. With the number of older adults in Macomb County rapidly increasing, the need for support services due to frailties of age, chronic health conditions, or disabilities, as well as lack of assistance due to changing family structures, is growing dramatically and will continue to do so well into the future. For over 30 years, our organization has been providing free basic assistance to hundreds of frail, older, and physically challenged adults, helping them remain safely in their homes with the help of hundreds of volunteers. This assistance has been helping older and disabled adults with transportation, chores, respite breaks, errands, and loneliness. These opportunities provide fulfilling experiences for those who wish to volunteer, as well as support for those who need it. The CDBG Safe at Home project part of IVC is part of our larger chore and repair program for older and disabled adults. The project was developed to provide additional chore and repair services in communities that allocate funding for this purpose. Safe at Home allows us to assist low to moderate income seniors and physically challenged adults with indoor and outdoor chores, minor home repairs, and routine housekeeping. We identify individuals who cannot do these tasks on their own and have limited resources, and prioritize those with the greatest need. We are requesting the CDBG funds to increase the number of low-income citizens we can reach to grow our program, as well as to coordinate the volunteers who do these services. IVC provides over 20,000 hours over all of its services to nearly 500 people each year. While we've been able to support a few residents of Richmond Township over the years, we would love to expand our support, including the Safe at Home project, further into the community. We hope for continued funding for the 2024-25 program year so that we can continue to build momentum and offer this service to more of those who need it in the future. The appreciation for this assistance is heartwarming from seniors such as Dave, whose porch we repaired so that he was able to safely take his wheelchair on a wife to the doctor, or Pam, who lost the ambition to organize and declutter her home until one of the volunteers came and assisted her and helped her find motivation. Other examples of help through this project may be replacing locks, washing windows, raking leaves, routine housekeeping, and installing smoke alarms. With the CDBG funding, this project can continue to grow, and assistance can be granted to a variety of lower-income Richmond senior citizens and disabled adults. Thank you to the board and everyone here tonight for your consideration for the funds granted in past program years. Any dollar amount granted is greatly appreciated in our program, and we hope to continue to partner with you going forward. If you know of any seniors who might use our services and could use some assistance, or are looking to give a gift of the time as a volunteer, please let us know by calling our office or visiting our website at www.ibcinfo.org. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Board have any questions?
I have some questions.
Sure.
Other than the block grant funding, where do you get funding to run the program?
I'm actually the newest employee of IBC.
Sorry.
It's okay. I do know our director has quite a number of different grants that she applies for.
So it's mostly grant funded?
It is. We do some fundraising that fell off. I'm aware, 2020 and the COVID years, but we hope to amp that back up. There were things like golf outings, spaghetti dinner, different ways that we do raise some funds, but a lot of it is through grants.
And you said you did have helped a few Richmond Township residents over the years. Do you
have.
know what types of services you provided them?
I do not know exactly. The thing with our program is we have to match volunteers in the area with people who need it in the area.
For sure.
So we need both volunteers and people who need help. So, I know we've expanded further out towards St. Clair and into Oakland County as well. But again, it's based on who's willing to volunteer to help. So, we're always looking.
Thank you so much.
Sure.
How many people do you currently help? Do you know approximately how many people, even because if you're in Roseville?
We're in Roseville. I believe it said nearly 500 people in need each year.
Oh, I can read it, yeah, I was listening to the, I didn't, okay, are they mainly down in your area then? You said a couple maybe out here, but is it mainly?
There are quite a few, it's probably where there are more people, there's where more people we have volunteers coming from. I know we have a lot of volunteers like in the Warren area or in Roseville, for sure. But we're reaching out as far as we can go.
Are the volunteers people that are retired volunteers, or are they people that maybe have businesses that may volunteer their time? Or is it?
No, it's not really businesses so much, because we go through an intensive process to get volunteers on. We do background checks, we have a big orientation with them, so it's not something we do a whole lot of one time. Like when people come to volunteer with us, they kind of commit to volunteering, for a while. It's not a one-time volunteer.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks so much. What do you do?
Good afternoon, or good evening. My name is Felicia Shaw. I am the Family Resource Center Coordinator for Care House. Care House is the Macomb County Child Advocacy Center, with our main office located in Mount Clemens and our satellite office located in Warren. Care House is the only agency in Macomb County who offers comprehensive services for child victims of sexual assault, physical abuse, and children who have witnessed violent acts, as well as their non-offending family members. Our goal is to minimize trauma for our child victims of abuse and provide coping skills, advocacy, and case management for those that have been offended. We collaborate with all law enforcement jurisdictions in Macomb County, as well as FBI, Homeland Security, and Immigration and Customs Enforcement, also known as ICE. We collaborate also with CPS, which is Children's Protective Services, the Macomb County Prosecutor's Office, medical and mental health professionals. When we think of children, we think and imagine their innocence, their laughter, their playful spirits, and their precious dreams for the future. Unfortunately, not all children have the opportunity to experience carefree childhood. Many children right here in our own community face unimaginable challenges and hardships, including abuse, neglect, and trauma. This is where Care House comes in. Care House serves as a beacon of light and a beacon of hope for those children, providing them with a safe haven where their voices can be heard and their needs can be met. It is a place where healing begins and resilience is nurtured and where childhood can be reclaimed. Each child who walks through our doors has a unique story, a story that is often filled with pain and suffering. Our goal is to rewrite the ending of those stories and to give these children the support and resources they need to thrive. Care House intervention and support services for child victims and their families, intervening to promote healing and helping families to cope with the emotional stress and trauma caused not only by the abuse, but also by the investigative process. Our services include coordination of forensic interviews, crisis counseling, child safety and trauma assessment, parent and child support groups, trauma-focused therapy sessions, family advocacy, access to forensic medical examinations, referrals, and to needed community services. As the designated counsel in Macomb County for Michigan Children's Trust Fund, Care House also offers child abuse prevention, information, education, and training for professionals throughout our community at large. In October of 2022, Care House started and developed the Family Resource Center at both locations in Macomb and in Warren. The Family Resource Center, also known as our FRC, which I so happen to run, gratefully, we're a parent-driven, welcoming, and a support hub for parents throughout Macomb County. Our FRC offers family pantries, parent leadership, development and mentoring, positive parenting and childhood development and education, warm handoffs to needed community resources, and ongoing case management. Families are never, ever charged for the services they receive at Care House. We provide services to all referred children and their non-offending family members. I'm also so proud to report that according to our most recent independent financial audit, 89% of every dollar that comes into Care House is specifically devoted to serving children and families throughout our communities. Since our doors opened in 1996, we have conducted over 10,700 forensic interviews with 28 of those children residing right here in Richmond Township. In 2022, we provided 704 forensic interviews. One of those children resided right here in Richmond. Last year, in 2023, Care House conducted 650 forensic interviews with 2 children residing right here in Richmond. We depend on the support from the community to provide a voice for all child victims and to offer them a safe place to be heard, and we're so grateful for the long-standing support from Richmond Township. We respectfully request your consideration for funding this upcoming year in the amount of only $600, which will support services for at least one qualified Richmond Township child victim and their family. Of course, we'd be grateful for anything you're able to do. If you want more information, you can always visit Macomb County Care House or www.mccarehouse.org. I'm open for any questions you may have at this time.
I did have a question. Let me think for a minute because I forgot. Oh, so it says, like three-quarters or 3 out of 4 kids wouldn't tell anybody about this, or it says do not tell anyone about their abuse for at least a year. How do these children get sent to you again? What is it by the child? If you said the CPC or
CPS, Child Protective Services.
Is it by them?
Typically, anyone can report. So it could be a neighbor, it could be another family member, it could be another child. They can go online to My Bridges, where typically state support is given to families of low income. There's a place there that they can report and be anonymous in their reporting. It could come from your teacher, it could come from any place. Once it's reported, then that report is sent over to Child Protective Services. They then investigate it, and then if they find validity and they need to dig deeper into that, then we report it to our law enforcement agencies. Our detectives get involved. Then they schedule an appointment with Care House, where we bring in the family and the child, and we do the forensic interview.
Okay. Is that different from what the CPS does, or, you know, do they don't give, or does the CPS also give, like, you know, how you provide them family services? Do they do that at CPS?
I'm not quite sure what CPS does as far as it goes with the interviews and when there's a report, exactly all of the steps that CPS does. I do know that once they take it into their office and they look over what the materials are, what the allegations are, the next level from there would be to connect with law enforcement and bring those families in. Now, each family that comes in has open access to all of the resources that we provide. They receive counseling for a lifetime. Not only that child, but their non-offending family members as well. I know that CPS does not offer that. They rely on us to provide that for them.
Do you collect clothing there?
We collect everything there.
Yeah, I thought that I'd heard that before. Someone was talking about Care House, and I don't remember where it was, but about giving children's clothing.
Yes, as a matter of fact, our new Family Resource Center, which now has a clothing pantry or a care closet that we call it, we are actually looking for even more donations for those families, because some of those families are trying to escape that situation of abuse, and so they need to start over.
And they can drop it off there at Clements.
Mount Clemens or Warren, either location.
All right, thank you.
Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you so much. Okay, everybody else is here to present. And the next item we have would be any further board discussion on the use of it. We'll be discussing later on under new business for the approval. But any further discussion? Okay, hearing none, motion to adjourn the CDBG public hearing.
And move.
Support? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
7:18. Okay, so finishing up public comment, are there any other public comment on agenda items only at this time? Okay, hearing none, we'll go down to the approval of the minutes from the December 13th, 2023 regular board meeting. Has everybody had an opportunity to review their minutes? If so, a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Any support?
Four.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, motion's carried. Thank you so much. Next item we have tonight is the consent agenda. We have the building department report, EMS report, office manager report, and the planning commission report. Is there anything anybody would like to pull from the consent agenda tonight? Hearing none, motion would be in order to approve the consent agenda as presented.
So moved.
Support?
Four.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Next item we have tonight are the financial reports. You have those in front of you from the clerk. Anybody have any questions for Kathy regarding these bills before we move forward?
No.
Good. Elaine? You're sure?
I'm positive.
Checking.
No, I had no notes.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Okay. If there's no other further questions for the bills, can I get a motion to approve and pay bills as presented?
I'll make a motion to approve the bills. Those four.
All fair side?
Aye.
Next item we have is the treasurer's report.
In the general funds, fire funds, there is $1,578,563.25. Tax disbursement account, $548,867.78. Recreation funds, $431,911.67. The investment account's $241,781.26. The small account at North Star, $7,790.81. PDR account, $28,725.87. And all other accounts, $28,898.08. Just wanted to point out that tax disbursement account that was given before Tom wrote out some disbursement checks, so not as much in there now. And the jar fund, we had received our check from the EMS, and then in the disbursement accounts that got received, there's some other disbursements from the tax fund. So that's all I have.
Okay. Any questions for Cindy before we move on? Hearing none, the treasurer's report will stand as presented. Thank you so much. Next item we have is the approval of the Arena School collection taxes for 2024.
So we received in the treasurer's office letters from the from the school districts that would like us to collect their taxes in the summer. Our rate has us collect them in half the summer, half in the winter. And we are still getting $2 a parcel to do that. Usually some those invoices out at the end of the year, and they did go up. So I'll be asking for approval from the board for all 3 school districts separately to authorize the treasurer to collect taxes for those schools. And the first one would be Armada.
Okay. So with that, any questions for Cindy before we?
Do we have to do that individually? Can we do it if we want to?
We can probably do this one. Sure, if you want to give approval on all of them, and it's all going to be in the minutes, and it's going to show that we approved all of them.
They're all requesting the same thing.
They're all requesting
they're all
the same
cost.
thing, and it's the same amount of money per parcel. So sure, if you want to make a motion for all of them, that'd be great.
I make a motion that we direct our treasurer to collect the 2004 summer taxes, or taxes in general.
2024 summer taxes were all 3 school districts, and the 2024 winter taxes were the Armada School District. They split theirs half and half.
Okay. Get that one.
Okay, so we're making a motion.
Yeah.
Support?
Support.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you.
All right, next item we have tonight is farmland preservation.
Yes, we had our meeting this morning in Ray Township. We elected officers, they remain the same as they've gotten. Kenny Cook is chairman, Joe Justin is vice chairman, I am recording secretary, and Jonathan Yake is treasurer. The personal property, I did get a email from, or a text from Sharon today. The personal property, I think, is set and ready to go. So now all we gotta do is just set dates and times and everything. So we ironed out all the issues we had with the easement. So shouldn't be in the not too distant future to do that. And the personal family would like to do somewhat like we did with mine. They have some type of gathering there, and they want to invite some certain people and stuff. So they'll be them and Kenny Cook and stuff will be setting that up. Friday will be held here. We'll keep you informed on that. Other than that, that's all I have at this time.
Sure. Any questions for Vern? Hearing none, thank you, Vern. Hearing none, we'll move on to the building report.
Good evening. I think just a couple of quick things to report on. We did take delivery this past week or so of our new ambulance. That means we'll be taking old ambulance out of service. I bring that up to say at that point in time, we were going to get that vehicle and the old John Deere zero turn out to Craterman's for auction. So we'll forward information to the township once those are at Craterman's, and the information on how people can bid on that old used equipment from the township or from anywhere else for that matter. That's how we have been disposing of public equipment at that point in time. Certainly, we're looking at the snow forecast for the weekend, and we'll make certain that lots and sidewalks are cleaned up as need be. throughout the weekend, so we don't have ice issues when we get back to work here in the early part of next week. So we'll keep an eye on that. And lastly, we are looking at initially a temporary idea that was brought to my attention by some of our residents at the last meeting, to try to at least identify the entrance way to our driveway out at the school section a little bit better at night. And it'll be an inexpensive start to, what may be a project we have to look at during budget time or otherwise, of just getting some of the big white reflectors that we have lining the driveway now, putting a couple of them in, make certain to keep them out of the road right away, but inward from the road just a little bit, and point those white reflectors, if you will, east and west on the school section, the big skinny rectangular reflectors, and just give that driveway a little bit of light when people's headlights at least hit it for being able to turn in. We've had a couple of residents mention that the driveway can be a little hard to see when you're coming down and trying to come in for the meeting. So we're gonna give that a try and address that for now, and then see if we can take other steps going forward to illuminate that a little bit better. So those are the reflectors are on order. They just haven't come. I was hoping that'd be in for tonight. We have one installed. Hopefully we'll get them in here shortly. We're trying to get it before the ground throws too high, so I can grab close to the ground. Before the ground throws.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Jeff. Any questions for Jeff before we move on? All right, thank you so much. Next up, we have the assessor's report. So you can see this report in your packet tonight. Is there anything you would like me to take back from the assessor this month? Hearing none, we'll move on to the library report. Elaine?
I do have a library report, actually. There are always good things going on in the library. So there are, okay, I'm going to tell you what they are, because I got several updates about the library. So what's coming up is that they have a craft supply swap. So you can bring all kinds of craft things in, and they'll give you a ticket. Once you bring your things in, you can bring them in from January 22nd to the 26th. All kinds of nice things that you want to just swap out. They'll give you a ticket, and you can go and be first to shop on the 27th. And so it's on January 27th if you want to go check it out. And then they have the lab set program that they always have, the story time. That's starting up again, so through mid-February on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And then they have a jigsaw puzzle competition. I'm starting to practice. But I'm not great at that, but it doesn't matter. It's February the 10th, so that'll be fun. They said that they have the tax forms there that you can get at the library. You can pick them up. They have these 1040s and 1040S forms, but they're waiting to get some state of Michigan forms. And then they also have free COVID testing. Yeah, I hear people are testing a lot. That's what she said. She said they've been giving out a lot of tests, but they do have some available for free. And you can call to pick it up if you don't want to go in, and they will pick it out to you. And there's 2 of them in a box. They also have an Adventures in STEM for Valentine's Day cards on February 12th for kids. I know, STEM is a big thing right now. So,
What is that? It's a kind of little library.
yeah. That's it.
Any questions for Elaine?
The STEM is February the, I think that was the 12th, yes. February the 12th, figure. You're welcome.
Thank you so much. There's no questions. We'll carry on to recreation.
My report will be very short. We did not meet in December. We will be meeting in January, and we have invited Serena, and we'll be inviting Steve to come and have some discussion on the recreation master plan. We will also be adopting the new 2024 calendar for meeting and the events. And
6 p.m.
6.
There are any recreation events coming up in April. Was it April?
We do the straight talk. That's our first big one, and it will be, we'll probably hammer on that a lot. We tried to write down after all the events, like things we learned. This was good, do not try to do this again. You know what I mean? And so hopefully this year will be better than last year. Well, I think we had over 100 kids last year, so
Yes, it was perfect.
I feel like it was good, the weather was not super, but they seemed happy. You know, kids don't mind getting rained on so much, so.
There'll be snow this year, so.
It's
Okay.
I don't, I'm not sure what day Easter is.
It's March.
Or is it? So, all right. So, yeah, there we go.
Sounds good.
Any questions for the citizens of recreation? Okay. Hearing none, we'll move on to the NEMC report.
We drew them a copy of our minutes, but I don't really have anything to update at this time.
Any questions for Lynn to take back to the NEMC board? Okay, well, thank you so much. Next item we have tonight is the unfinished business. First item under that would be the bridge funding update. We don't have anything new on that, however, we still need to set a meeting date and time.
We do, and perhaps after the meeting tonight, Elaine and I could talk. You could be here by 3:30?
Again,
Okay, so I'm thinking perhaps if I leave work at 2:30 or so one day, we could meet here at 3:30.
Okay.
Sometime, hopefully this month still.
Okay.
I would like to sit with you and write down some questions and concerns I have, so that when we come in, I at least kind of have an idea of where I go with it.
Yeah, maybe if you can, give me like maybe 2 dates that work for you, and then I'll give them both to Eric, and then kind of go from there. And, yeah, perfect.
Okay. Yep.
Excellent. All right. Okay, next item we have will be a voting update. Do you have any information on any voting update? I do not, Kathy would usually give voting updates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if nobody has anything, we'll carry on. All right. New business. First item we have on the new business is the approval of the CDBG funding. Can I start by a motion to discuss?
So moved.
Your support? Okay, we've heard from both of our organizations tonight, and I guess start with Cindy. How do you feel about?
So first of all, I have to say that both of these organizations are wonderful, and they come every year, and you guys are solid. We can always count on you. The sad thing this year is our hands are tied. We get so little money, and we have to give a minimum of $2,000 out. So really, we can only give it to my personal feeling is that while I support both of them, Care House did bring us some facts about how many of our residents they actually helped. And again, no, the interfaith, you guys are great as well, but I would lean toward that. That would be how I feel about it. Okay?
Elaine?
I had similar thoughts, but the only bit, we can't just do like you said, we can't say, because you said it has to be 2,000.
Minimum
So it
2,000.
can't be 2,750.
No,
750 to someone. All right. Why? Do you know?
Well,
I just think that we just divided.
so last year, I think it was 1,500 and we had to do this. You know, it's too bad. I would presume that, like she had asked for, you would take as little as 600. I don't know, Jeff probably knows a lot more about this than I do, but there's probably a lot of paperwork associated, no matter if you're giving someone $600 or you're giving them $4,000. I do know this year that when we submit this to the county, they have opened up a new portal for us. We don't necessarily do it on their forms and then email them in. We actually go in and they're fillable forms, so they're a little different. But I think they're trying to streamline it, and I just think that anything under $2,000, like I would split it 50-50. If we can do that, that's what I would do. I just feel like it just creates a lot of extra work for them. That's, I don't know if
That's
that's
your
the reason,
thought.
but that's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
Well, and I want to say that we gave the money last year to Interfaith. Is that
We
true?
did.
I think so.
What do we have in minutes?
Is that right? So I guess I want to give,
We give it to Care House.
oh, we have two. I wasn't, I don't think I was here then.
Yeah, it might have been 2 years.
Is that what we
Yeah.
gave it to last time this year?
No,
Interfaith was last
I think
year.
we gave Interfaith the money last year.
Year before, I believe.
Okay.
Okay, so, okay,
Well-
then let's see.
So if we,
Until we figure out
if we look at it, I kind of agree the same way. We think Care House does kind of, it's supported more of our residents. And if we give the interfaith last year, give it to Care House this year,
Right.
take that in consideration next year,
Yes,
that we might flip flop.
That's true. It'd be our way of splitting it,
Yeah, it'd be our way of splitting.
So,
without splitting it.
I mean, this may be off topic for this moment, but who is it that, you said that you get these funds from,
they're indirectly, they come from the federal government.
Come from that.
okay,
And so they are to support public service agencies that are nonprofits, and they support things you might want to do for low-income residents in your area. So we did for a while, when I first started on the board, I think we got almost $50,000.
Oh, yeah.
And so we did a lot of work over to the senior center. We put in the bathrooms and the ramps and, you know, and so it has changed drastically. So basically, for us, because what could we get for $2,500 as far as a project? I think that it's been our feeling, I remember the last few years, just to give it to a public service, that
okay.
it might do more good there. What?
I'm gonna look into it and say, and I'm gonna divide this half next year.
I imagine it'll be even worse next year.
Yeah, right.
That's just my gut feeling, it just keeps getting down, down, right, Jeff, I see well the change.
Year after year, for reasons that I have no explanation for, the county has made it a little more challenging for local units of government to actually disperse these funds. And they've also reduced our funding. There was a time when the communities out in this area, and it wasn't all too many years ago, received about $30,000 apiece, not $2,500. And over time, those got reduced significantly and moved around the county to some degree. Again, I don't have the ration, I can't provide you any rationale for why it occurred, but it did. But our Station 3 for EMS, just to give the board a background, a reminder for those that weren't here, that was actually built with CDBG funds. You know, we were able to put together in those days enough CDBG funds that we could build a building. And today, with $2,500 and the rules related to how you have to go about spending them, it's just not worth our administrative time to follow the rules would take a third of the $2,500.
And you also, there's an opportunity to get into the competitive CDBG grant, and you can request a grant for up to $150,000. But again, I've done those, Annie Fraser, I'm just finishing out, I finished out December 29th, my 2022 grant. Yeah, so, I get it, why they want to know all that, they need a lot of paperwork, and I understand that, and you can get into a competitive grant, and I guess if at some point the township felt we wanted to maybe do something else to the senior activity center or something, we could, but Jeff, for a while, I mean, he was coming up with projects for us, because we don't have a lot of areas to spend that in.
So doesn't it have to be low income?
Yeah, it gotta be low income.
So that's a problem we run into. Let's face it, Richmond Township does not have a lot of low income areas. That we would meet their criteria.
Yes.
Then you can only apply it to low-income areas.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I tend to agree also with the board. I like the idea of split it, split it their own way by doing it their own way.
Yeah, we can do that.
So what I'm hearing, the motion would be in order then to award the CDBG monies for 2023 in the amount of $2,570 to Care House.
Is that 2024, maybe?
No, 2023, right?
But they're 2024 funds.
Yeah.
And I would make that motion.
Okay.
Yep.
To support?
Support.
All fair say aye.
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 All right, perfect. Well, thank you so much, and thank you for both of your time. Appreciate it. Okay, next item we have tonight is the approval of the 2024 limestone placement. So if I get a motion to discuss.
So moved.
Any support? Okay, so I went through our list of people who called in this past summer, fall, complaints of limestone areas on the road. There's a reoccurring one that jumps out, Irwin Road, from Omo Road east. It's just a Berman, but it's actually a little further than Berman Road. That's something I would definitely like to try to get done. And then the other ones is Pit Road, which is a legitimate concern. That one's pretty rough down there.
Maybe all of your road from Armada Ridge to 33?
Now, this one says 34, so I looked at Pit 34 to Armada Ridge. It's about a half-mile stretch there. And that's really where it narrows down and winds around. Then it comes up to Armada Ridge Road. The part of it between school section and England, we've done that a couple times. Fairly recently too, so I don't know if that really should be a priority, but does the board have any concerns or maybe?
I had a concern,
What do you have?
only because I was looking at the limestone when it was applied, looking at the past roads that were done. Yeah, this is the road, yep, this one I had. And it was in 2010. And I was almost wondering, should you just go back, like the longest ago road that you've done and see if it's been done again? Go that way, or is all the roads say weird differently anyways, I guess?
We do work different, and a lot of it has to do with how they've been maintained over the years. I know what they're starting to do now, the Department of Roads maintains it, but the New Haven Guard takes care of Richmond Township. And what they're starting to do now is once we decide where these locations are, they get the copy of the minutes, and then the foreman will actually send crews out to trim trees, clean out any ditches, do all the groundwork before the limestone comes. Like I know this Irwin Road, there's a culvert that's plugged, and it's flooding out a horse pasture there, so we're gonna get that taken care of, and then limestone will come in, they'll actually put a big crown on the road again. You almost gotta hold on to the wheel because the crown's so big, but it'll settle down when you regrade it throughout the summer. So they try to shape it a little better and get the water off it, more so than they have in the past, which is why you've seen a lot of these roads that have already been done are failing again. Farmington's a good example of it. We've done it twice and it keeps failing. But, we talked about at some point with the roads that have already been done, do just the center line of the road, because the base is good, we just gotta get a higher depth to get the water back out. So there's some thinking going on behind the scenes there.
Well, that was the only reason why I brought that up. I just thought that we go back to 2010 and hey, let's check out those roads that are up there. At the top of those lists, there's 3 different roads there, and Criderman is one of those.
Yeah, and I think we did.
Few weeks.
In 2013, we did all 3 miles of Craig.
Yeah, we've done credit.
We did that 2 years ago. We did 1 mile.
It wasn't too long ago.
And 21, we did another.
So what ones, you got 4 roads on here on this thing.
Yeah,
Can you cover all of them that are on there? No.
we get 3 miles, so
That's what I mean.
yeah, I don't think we can cover all of them.
No, that's what I want. So we got to pick,
Um,
but that pick one.
Yeah, with that credit, like I said, I don't think I would do that.
No, I agree. I would do the president.
I kind of like to spread them out a little bit.
Yeah.
Like a mile here, a mile there, just, I know both Dayton and Irwin are both, the ditches are higher than the road, even the center line of the road, they're pretty rough shape, but.
So do we go by the people who have requested it?
Yeah, typically that's how I start, is just look at who called in and then see what's,
Well, the first 2, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
The first 2, that would be roughly a mile, aren't they?
yeah, a mile would get you just short of, Credit Road by about a
Yeah.
quarter mile or so. But
So
depending
we
on
should
when
be,
the road.
we should be did do the other 3. Shouldn't we?
Yeah, if we did a mile.
I agree, 34 mile road over there is pretty bad.
Yeah.
between,
Pit Road.
yeah, between Pitt over to Olmo. That's what you're talking about, right, 34 from Olmo.
Pit Road from 34.
34 or Pit Road? Which one?
That's what I'm,
Pit Road is what they're talking about.
Pit Road.
Yeah.
So this.
yeah, I think 34 between
It was 34.
Pitt and Olmo.
Yeah. Is he
He's
on 34?
on
You did 34 is worse.
Okay. He's on there.
He's on, it's Mr. Cates who's.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I talked to Jim, or I knew Jim reported.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he's talking 34 miles exactly from Olmo over to Pitt.
Okay, that's roughly a mile.
Yeah, that's roughly a mile, and that's pretty bad in there.
Yeah. Okay, no, I thought we were talking Pit Road, but, no, really, we put a mile on those three.
That's what I would, you know.
We could do that. Lorraine, how do you feel?
Well, you know, I was on my road then, but they have already, you know, they have probably legitimate reasons too. I'm sure we all have it, you know.
Most,
so-
yeah, almost anybody that calls up was just.
Right.
Right. How are you feeling?
This is a subject that I probably don't, I talk a lot, but I probably get off a lot on this. My road is,
Right.
you know,
Yeah,
they go by quick on our road, but
Yeah, that's smooth usually. Okay. So a motion would be in order then to use our limestone allocation. This always takes a minute, but, we'll put 1 mile on Dayton Road from Olmo East.
Yeah, Olmo is coming.
We'll do 1 mile on Erling Road from Olmo East. And then we'll put 1 mile on 34 Mile Road
So, yeah,
between, let's say beginning at Olmo to that,
you could go east of Olmo.
from Olmo East.
East, yeah. That would probably get the whole.
It should get a mile on that.
I would think, a lot of times they'll finish it even if they're that close, won't they?
Yeah, depending on the width of the road.
Yeah, what's the road? That's not overly wide, that road. I think you'll be all
They
right.
lost money at Craig Road, because that thing's like 6 lanes.
Oh, yeah, you're 2 lanes out there.
Okay, so that would be the motion for those 3 roads, a mile.
Yeah.
When did they do that?
I'll make them. They're,
July,
August,
August,
July,
July.
somebody usually.
Right, okay.
So Bert made a motion, do we have support?
Can we say something? Just, I don't live there, you're gonna miss me by a quarter mile, but at intersection of Berman and Irwin Road there, Berman Road is like underwater also. If you raise Irwin Road there, it's gonna make Berman for maybe 1/10 of a mile or something even worse, I think. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna just exacerbate the problem with Berman. if
The
you-
benefit there is Irwin's narrow, so they're gonna save on material. I'll meet the foreman out there, we'll spread it, we'll kind
I can
of
Berman, try to,
build the intersection.
yeah, 'cause that whole thing is like you need a causeway almost.
No, you do. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Where's the culvert that you said they got?
It is, you know where Jeff Alderman is?
Yeah.
It would be just east, between him and,
East of
Bill Stankiewicz Farm. Actually, it's
Oh,
Bill
I
Stankiewicz
right
Farm.
away.
Yeah.
So that wouldn't really interfere with what he's saying.
No,
Not
no,
gonna help what he's saying.
no, because Berman goes
It's
west.
down farther.
Almost
Yeah, you're
goes
down,
east,
yeah.
It actually goes through Sutherland.
Okay.
Yeah, he's down a little bit further east.
Mhm.
Yeah, I know where you're talking
Yeah,
about.
it's just,
Okay, so we have a motion and support. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carried. Thank you so much. Next item we have would be to set the budget meeting date. In your packet, what's calendar for the month of March. Kind of looking at March 2nd. Does that work for people? Not? I know Kathy has it, I think it's going to work. Did you?
I can try.
Okay.
I don't guarantee I'll still be walking on it for a second. I can be sure that's, not sure how wide that one.
Sure?
Yeah.
What's the second?
Okay. Elaine?
So I'll just say, yeah. If I have it in my phone.
Okay. Well, as I know, I was looking at either March 2nd or 9th. and
Well, we
I
can
can't
eat in the
do-
morning.
Was that?
We met in the morning last time, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
You brought us snacks.
Yes, I did. Okay, so that would be okay.
Hey,
Yeah. We need- I'm sorry,
March 2nd. Second or the 9th, the first two Saturdays.
I can't do the 9th. Yeah, you could do the 9th, but that's why I kind of back on the 2nd. So, that works.
I can do the second, but not the ninth.
Okay.
So the second at 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do we need
I don't think so.
We have consensus.
Yeah, consensus.
March 2nd, 8 a.m. for... Okay, next item we have is the parking lot lighting discussion. Motion to discuss,
So moved.
support.
Or,
All right, thanks to Jeff for providing the estimate from Northwest Electric about trying to increase the visibility of our parking lot. Jeff, would you mind explaining?
Sure, so, there's been some discussion amongst the board and in fact, some of our residents as well, about the parking lot just kind of being dimly lit out here, especially, coming into election season and really for other times. The lights aren't really very bright out there. We contacted a couple of vendors, but the proposal that I have before you tonight is with Northman's who did the lights in this room, so we've used them before at the township. What they're proposing is that they would use the poles that are existing out there, so the poles and the wiring basically stays the same, but as opposed to just putting a larger light in the fixture at the top, we have about as big a light as you can put in there right now in the current fixture. So we would put in they would put in a new fixture at the top that would put in an LED that's big enough to really make a difference out there with regard to the light. The light would, for the most part, stay on the property, meaning we would keep it within the current parking lot area, which is something we're talking about when we want the fixture, so we're not bleeding over onto the neighbors. Now we don't have a neighbor, we don't have neighbors quite so nearby us, but nevertheless, we always try to keep the light to a little bit of a minimum out there on the property. So, like I say, we did get a bid with Northman. It's $2,550. This is not something we previously budgeted for. But if the township wanted to, the township has basically two options. We could wait until, the budget and look to move forward with that, but that we wouldn't have it done prior to election time, kind of thing, at least primary election time. If we were to move forward with it tonight, Northwood seems to believe that they can get it done, I think the first primary is from February. February. So they seem to believe that they could get it done for us if they had done by the February election. So it's really just up to the board as to how they want to prioritize getting that done. And with that, I'll turn it over to the board for their discussion of the decision.
And I'm talking to Debbie. She said the money's there. She's not worried about covering the cost of that. Knows how important it is, especially with election coming up, to take care of it. How do you feel?
money, then I guess we need it.
Does it feel?
yeah, it's something we've been wanting to do. So.
Yeah.
I think it's an incredibly conservative, thank you, Jeff,
Yes.
solution to what we had considered at one point, and Surratt was nice enough to get to come up with what that cost would be, which was far more than this. And so I know Jeff has spent some time investigating why the light fixtures were like they were and about this solution. So I want to thank you and Kevin both. I do feel that we probably have funding, I certainly know we have fund balances at the end of the year. We have plenty of fund balance. So I am in favor of moving forward with it now, so they would be in by the primary.
Yeah, so, and I don't want to say to you that this is going to fix every dark spot of that parking lot.
Yeah.
We only have a limited number of posts to work with, right? So all we can do is for now, a reasonable way to deal with this and try to improve what we have on those posts. Once those are in, I I think it's real possible that what we'll decide is we need to find a way to add posts or lighting on buildings that we shine out in the lot or other options. So I think this will be a start that will provide significant improvement. But if you ask me if I think this is the end all cure all, I do not believe that to be the case either. So I just don't want to put, I don't want your expectations to be so high that this is going to fix everything. Because like I said, we only put a couple lights in that parking lot. So unless we're going to add posts and wiring and things like that, which is going to be a tremendous amount more money,
Yes.
we may not get to where it would like us to eventually.
I think, though, if we're in the here and now, that it's going to be helpful.
I think it's going to be an
And that, you know,
improvement, certainly a big improvement over what we have.
the next thing I would want to look at would be what you said.
I don't know, Cement, do you know the lighting we have there, does that meet code now or is our code change? It does not meet code, I didn't think so. So if we were building today, we would have to provide different lighting. So,
Well, it'll definitely improve what we
well, I
have.
think that just underlines what Jeff just said, it's not a cure. We just need to know that.
And it'll probably save a little money too, because I can hear those things buzzing at night. Thinking, how
Yeah.
much power are these things using? So the LED will definitely save cost on using light out there.
If we get them in now, we can then tell by budget time.
Good point.
Yeah.
If we need to do something.
Well, that's true.
After expand.
Yeah. Well, good point.
That would be my thought.
Okay. Okay. So from what I'm hearing, then the motion would be in order to authorize Jeff to move forward with Northland Electric to install the 100-watt or equivalent LED lights for the amount of $2,550. Support?
Support.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you so much. All right, next item we have tonight is the compensation for additional clerk duties with passing of proposal 2022-02. Is there any motion to discuss?
I would like to discuss, motion to discuss.
Support?
Support.
All right.
Okay, so I requested that this item be put on the agenda this evening. First of all, before I get into my reasoning, my thought process here, I do want to make it clear that when I brought up to the clerk the possibility of additional salary or wages, she was a hard no on that. Her big concern in this was making sure that the deputy clerk was additionally paid for the additional work she's going to have. So with the proposal 2022-2, the state constitution now says that we have got to be open for 9 consecutive days at 8 hours a day prior to each state and federal election. Say an hour at the beginning of the day, an hour at the end of the day, that's 10 hours a day times 9 days, times 3 elections this year. My thought was Kathy is in here approximately 25 hours a week, so that's $1,300 or 1,300 hours a year. So she is going to be asked to give us an extra 20% of her time over and above that because the state law says that she has to. I personally, and of course I have a lot of insight on this. I work for a community that probably has no idea. They don't have a sitting clerk on their board that understands how much additional time and work and effort and what that's going to mean and the scrutiny that you're going to be under. So when I was talking to Kathy, like I said, I had mentioned to her a couple of times that I would like to, the number that seems to be floating out there, what most clerks are going for is they're asking their board for city council for $3,000 per election for the additional time. I mentioned that to Kathy, and she was hard on that. So when I talked about perhaps we could put some additional money in her retirement account, she said, let me think about it, and got back to me a couple days later and said she would be amicable to that. My recommendation in the resolution is that it is $2,000 additional into the retirement account of Kathy LaFontaine, or the clerk, whoever this is moving forward, for each state or federal election. This year there'll be 3 And for instance, if we had a May election, it would be a local election, so this would not come into play, because she would not be required to do the 9 days of early voting. So also in here, and we did talk about that, she recommended to me that she would like to see the deputy clerk be paid $25 during this time for the additional time she's going to have to be here to help. The machines have to be opened up every day, closed down every day. We have to load the electronic poll book every day. We have to total every day. It's like you're not the same as having a total election every day, but a lot of the steps are the same. So it isn't like you're just sitting there for 9 hours and then there's, nothing. There's a lot of work to it every day. So I guess at that point, I'm just going to field questions and see if we can come to some kind of decision on this.
Personally, I'm not directly involved with the elections, but I've been with election commission meetings, and I've seen the test, and obviously talking to the clerk and deputy clerk and stuff. It's a tremendous amount of work that these people do to make sure the election goes well. And it's just, unless you see that side of it, I don't know if you really truly understand how much work goes into it. So I'm definitely in favor of something like this for sure.
It actually came up because at our PDR meeting, we always do like a round table and we go around, everybody says what's going on in your township. And I told them, this is one of the things that we're having issues with, is having our papers and everything. But after the meeting, I told the supervisor for Ray Township, wanted to know what we were doing because he feels that they should do this. They want to do something too. Their clerk is the same way. Oh, no, you don't need a baby. But he said, none of these clerks that got elected ever signed up for this.
No.
And they've had
I have a whole list of things that have been added to her duties. She was elected in 2012 the first time, and there have been 3 major changes to election law that have made the job so much more time consuming. Yeah.
Other communities are struggling with the same thing and want to do something. So I'm all for it. I have no problem.
Right?
I don't have any problems with it. It's pretty expensive work.
And to be fair, only one of these $2,000 will be out of this fiscal year.
Yeah.
So in August and November, they will be out of the next fiscal year, so we will have budgeted monies for those, as well as the additional money for the deputy clerk. And I did ask Kathy, I said, so I'm just, making sure, I'm thinking about any questions there might be. And I said the funding would come from, and so she said that she had budgeted for an additional election that we're not having this year. So there is money in our budget to cover the $2,000 for retirement and the additional money for the deputy clerk. It will not cut into our budget.
You're not talking $25 an hour for above, like you're already getting paid your normal wage.
No.
It's
No,
additional
instead of-
whatever you're doing.
Right, when the deputy clerk is in the capacity of the 9 or 10 hours a day, that would be her wage then versus the wage that she might get for planning zone.
Right.
Yep.
I think one of the questions I would have, we could discuss this more in our budget meeting, but budgeting for the next fiscal year, I guess, would be where we would budget that from, and what department would that additional go
And I
into for budget purposes.
do think that I put in the resolution, it could be something that's reviewed annually.
Yeah.
You could review it, and if you think it's good, great, and if you think maybe not so much, we're having a bad year, but you know what I mean?
Mhm.
So you could look at that annually and change it if you wanted to.
All of each year, you might not have that many elections.
Right.
So, and like I said, they're only state and federal elections, so next year there might not be any.
I don't think there would be anything.
So,
Has the state made any recommendations on this?
no, this came from the Michigan Association of Municipal Clerks. I'm certain you can imagine when we get, 300 municipal clerks in a room and they have all of this going on and they talk about, one thing that was offered was they said, well, perhaps maybe you can give your clerks some more paid time off. Well, this literally allows you to That's my husband, how much time out there is,
Yeah.
you know, there isn't. It's a great idea, but you're not gonna have it.
But surprising, see, Oakland County, the county's doing it.
Yes, and we mentioned that to Clerk Forlini, how it would be awesome if, and he said he was not at all interested in that. I don't know.
But, they did say Ray and Bruce and Washington went together.
Yes,
Which is a pretty big area.
yes.
I'm surprised, you know.
Yeah, that's gonna be a long drive for some people.
Yeah, so. So what do we need to do?
I think you make a motion to approve that resolution 2024-01 as presented.
Okay, so motion would be in order then to approve Richmond Township Resolution number 2024-01, the compensation for added duties and responsibilities from proposal 2022.
I like to make that motion.
Any support? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Can you give a roll call vote to the motion,
Green,
Aye.
Waterstrat, Coleman,
Aye.
the boss.
please? Aye.
Thank you, everybody, very much. And Kathy would never ask you for that.
Okay, well, thank you for explaining it. Thank you. Okay, next item we have tonight would be items for next agenda. Maybe we'll, obviously we'll keep the bridge and voting on the unfinished business, because I think that.
Hopefully, Elaine and I will have a day that we can do that before the next.
Right.
That'll be our goal.
Okay.
The voting update's gonna have to be in there.
Yeah. Well, so anything you think you know, let us know, or get it on.
Yeah.
Next item would be then call to the board.
I don't know.
You got it, Elaine?
I think we've covered it.
Okay, next item that we have is general public comment.
Hi, my name is Vicki Dash, and I live at 37520 Hazel Road. And my neighbor has opened up a gun shop inside his pole barn, which I understand is legal in Michigan. The problem is he also has a gun range. And when I read your zoning ordinance online, it indicated that a gun range can only be on residential property, farming property, not homestead residential. And this is homestead residential. On November, it ran for an hour straight, nonstop gunfire. And at the very end of the hour, it was a huge explosion. I'm told it was a 50 caliber shot that went off at the very end. On December 23rd, it started at 10:30 in the morning, and it went to 4:30 in the afternoon. And multiple customers were there shooting. I don't know if there is requirements on what a gun range has to have, so there's not a chance of ricocheting and getting anybody. At the end of every hour, that huge shell blast went off. My daughter's almost dead. She was terrified. And it's winter. We're in our house, the windows are closed. You'd have to turn the TV up to get over the gunfire sound. It was that loud. I don't know. I mean, if you don't have it in place and it is legal, I don't want any other people to have this, because this is horrible. It's Feast at Christmas, it wasn't there. Multiple customers, cars, guns laid out on the table, like banquet tables. But I don't know if an ordinance can be, if we put in the zoning thing, that it would be only for personal use, and limiting the amount of calibers, AKs, things like that. Do they belong in our township? I understand when somebody buys one, they want to target practice on their own house, but this was above and beyond. When it goes an hour straight, and then when it went and December 23rd so long. I did come in and file a complaint on Thursday after Christmas here, but I don't know legally what can be done, and maybe that's an area that needs to be explored and put more restrictions. A different world than what it was written in, sure.
May I ask you a question? When you say there's a lot of cars there,
Oh, yes.
how many cars at a time and how many during the day?
I think they had a big sale before Christmas. And that's when I couldn't have told you how many cars went back and forth, because once the store started, I don't take my dog for walks.
Is there any signage at the property?
No. The only reason I knew it was a gun shop was I had to leave Detroit, and it was an area I didn't know, and I Google mapped to get around the construction zones, and it showed up that, oh, there's a gun shop next door to me. That's how I discovered it. There's no sign on the outside.
So all this shooting with people coming in, this is new, a newer thing?
Yes, this November was the first time I heard it.
Okay.
You know, not I was home, but December was just, and our house is set back from the road. So almost my front door is probably close to the shooting ranges by the conversations I could hear outside. I mean, I can't see it from,
Right.
but it's just been really hard. And I'm sure this won't be the first case.
How many acres is that there?
We have 22.
You have 22, what's your neighbor have? Rebecca?
I don't know him. He does not have as much as we do, because this is
Maybe
straight
about
shot.
that.
But
Maybe about that.
I was thinking he had 4 maybe. And I don't know if there's strict rules the state has as far as what has to be, built to be safe for whatever caliber guns they're using. But I don't know if you were even aware of it. I brought it up. And you can Google my address and you can see the gun shop come up. And I'm just, it's hard.
Yeah.
Was your address 37520?
And it's at 550.
335.
That's where his is at, the gun shop is.
Okay.
So hopefully they'll consider, I don't want to see anybody else.
Have you called the police on that?
No, because it's a zoning issue whether you have it until something happens.
Well, it might not be. I don't think you're allowed to shoot him. If he's shooting a 50 caliber gun, I don't think that's allowed.
No, that was actually,
Not in this area, not in the
no, I
residential.
was gonna mention after the meeting to you as well, too.
Yeah.
Just from experience from a victim that I knew of something similar, but he dealt with the DNR, I guess, for some reason the DNR, like investigated
Yeah.
and determined about safety and shooting and
Yeah.
types, and that's kind of their wheelhouse.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
so I don't know if you try to discuss it with DNR.
Because it is a commercial store, it says, oh, I'll see after it and that. But
Yeah, that's interesting. too.
I didn't know how gun ranges fit in with everything.
Have you spoke to the dealer or not?
No, I just went from Anna. I came here to file a complaint so that I can make,
Yeah.
at least start a case of child complaints while I'm. Thank you.
Thank you. Stevie?
I did an update on the land trail that the state implemented. As I reported last month, the state did take over control of the siting of wind and solar farms. And the three-board panel will be doing it, the Michigan Public Service Commission will be determining all the regulations and everything, so taking away our local zoning. The organization that was protesting that has started, they're going to have a ballot initiative next November to overturn that legislation. So I'm going to report that. They have a new website, it's called micitizenschoice.org. And the language is being drawn up, it has to be approved by the Board of Canvassers on the 19th. Our neighbor Wales Township is going to be speaking to the Board of Canvassers, because I guess they've had quite a few issues over there with all this. So they're going to be kind of testifying. Another point about that is I kind of made up mine's more of an article, but I have a friend trying to make it like a flyer of things that local farmers and people with property should kind of be aware of when these utilities and developers are approaching them to talk about leasing property from them. It's based on experience of other people around the state that have had dealings with them. Most of them say, get a lawyer and don't do it, basically. But if I was to make a flyer like that, could I bring it in and maybe leave a copy with you? And I'd like to maybe post one on the bulletin board or something. Is that how I would go about that? Is just leave a copy at the office and ask about it at the time?
Yeah, they could do that.
Okay. Okay. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the update.
Yep.
Any other general public
payments, spend some time to the Atlantic Township, learn some things about it. The next thing is getting it running for the permanent portion of it. That'll probably be another week or two for that, but we should be, hopefully by the end of this month, we should be 100% going. And fingers crossed it'll work.
For the next one, see how it went.
Hoping it goes good.
Good.